Kish, just coming back to you, we heard Mr. Advani there, as he usually does in circumstances like this, especially in Assam. He's saying that there's a possibility that illegal migrants from Bangladesh could have been involved. You were talking about Alpha 1 Brigade, which is overground, many other components in Myanmar. I do know officials will right now be looking at medical attention, but they have to look at who is responsible. Recently, there were alleged encounters against Alpha. Is that organization under pressure?
Yes, Amitabh, Alpha is definitely under pressure. It's been under pressure for several years now, but you know, it's a unique outfit in the Northeast. Even the strongest outfit of the Northeast, which is the NSCN, had suffered splits. Most of the outfits that we know, from Boros to Karbis to Dimasas to the valley-based in Manipur or to the hills of Manipur, all have factions. Alpha is one unit which has sustained itself for 30 years without a faction. When the 28th Battalion came overground in August, one suspected or expected that there would be a split, of some kind. But the leadership has quickly contained that rut. It has been able to recruit more people, infuse fresh blood, and with this kind of a serial blast, obviously it gets a lot of confidence from its cadres. It hasn't had a central committee meeting, central command meeting, which means it's the leader meeting with its cadres for years now, for over 8 years, for almost a decade now, but it still has been able to maintain that chain of command. And I think the law enforcing agencies need to take cognizance of this fact. Also, let me add, Amitabh, that very recently intelligence had some information that probably Alpha has again entered Bhutan. As you remember, in 2003, there was an operation, a full-scale war in Bhutan, which apparently the Indian forces had helped, in which they flushed out about 38 insurgent camps in Bhutan. And Bhutan is just across where in Bongaigaon, Borpeta, Kokrajhar, those are the areas which are bordering Bhutan. Now, we've heard that Alpha has again found its way back to Bhutan, and it would, because it is a very safe haven for them. Logistically, it would help Alpha rather than being in Myanmar or in Bangladesh. From Myanmar, it makes them easily enter Upper Assam, but to come towards Guwahati, they need a logistical center somewhere out here, and that Bhutan is going to serve that. We had heard about that, but also the fact that, Alpha's the excesses that Alpha suffers, they had to counter that at some point. And this is the best way to counter it. In the center of Guwahati, very close to the center of power, which is in Dispur, the Secretariat, very close to the Deputy Commissioner and the Superintendent of Police, who are in charge of the district out here. And in, of course, Fancy Bazaar, which is the, the biggest commercial hub of the city. So, in that sense, I think they have been very successful in making their presence felt if it is Alpha. But what you asked me about other groups, Amitabh, and what I've heard LK Advani saying, and there is a possible, thread of suspicion that there could be other groups, because there has been some mention of Islamic terrorist groups like Huji operating in Assam. Right now, I think it would be too premature to really make that connection. Amitabh.
Kishlai Bhattacharjee updating us. Thanks for that. We'll keep coming back to you. Also joining us now on the phone line.